words. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3, testing.
Hello.
Testing, testing. Hello, testing, testing. Wait. Hello. Hello, testing, testing. So we can start. It's important. Hello. Testing, testing. So that's how you handle because you want to know. So, good evening, everybody. I know we're a bit late starting, and this is a little bit different than what initially this lecture was touted for. I've been working on something entirely different. It was going to end up becoming a series of lectures. Actually, the objective of the lectures was to rediscover that which was lost. So a lot of the ancient mysteries, what we now call mysteries, trying to rediscover them and actually tie them into the origin of what we believe in, how we believe today. So without further ado, so I'll start. And these are what we would call their arcane secrets or arcane traditions. Arcane meaning mysterious, arcane meaning old, lost, and it's taken quite a lot to, in fact, uncover a lot of them. And so the fundamental principle. Sorry, I think there's somebody coming. The fundamental principle of the arcane, of all arcane teachings, which has spilled over into the modern philosophies, traditions, however you used to call it, is that of the existence of absolute being, of something that's absolute. That's not called being, an absolute power. Yeah, and in the arcane tradition, the ancients, let's call them the ancients. The ancients ascribed that this supreme power, which is the cause and reason of the cosmos, and all manifestations therein, are founded on the single principle of law. So essentially, what we would today call God, Allah, whatever, Brahma, whatever, actually for them, it was law. The law was the deity, was the absolute. There was nothing above law. In fact, everything in the manifested universe was subject to law. And so law was, and actually is, the absolute power of all that is and was and so forth. Now, for many of us who have a different tradition, this is a difficult concept. Because for many of us, we consider that there has to be someone or some kind of entity that comes up with law. Yeah? And that entity that comes up with law is in fact the deity. But for the ancients, that was not so. Because that thing or that deity that we ascribe to. It's called, and that, by the way, is called the pantheistic method of considering what a deity is. And I'll explain that later. So for the ancients, they would say, no, law is the ultimate, because even if you took it a step back, that desire or wish of that deity, whatever you had, that propelled them to establish law in the first place, becomes the absolute because it controlled it to establish law in the first place. So this is like a general overview. I cannot cover everything in one session, but so today we're just going to cover this notion of the absolute and what that absolute means and why it means what it means, in consideration of the arcane traditions. Okay? So the law is the abstract principle impossible to be truly understood or represented. So the mortal mind cannot comprehend the incomprehensible, yet know that it's there. It is not a pantheistic deity. What does that mean? So, for those who think of pantheistic, is you say like God is the universe. That's pantheistic. To the arcanes and to the ancients, that's not possible because you have consolidated the deity into the knowable, the final, even the thinkable. So, and in such, and in so doing, you have restricted the deity. So it is the unknowable, but yet you know that it is. Yeah. So the difference here, and in this, because also when you say that God is the universe, then God has split itself into shapes and forms and different kinds of things, and so therefore it cannot be absolute because it's divisible, it's subtractable, it's gainable, it's all of that. Whereas the absolute doesn't change. It is absolute. By definition, it cannot change. It needs not change. It cannot grow because it's beyond that. It cannot shrink because it's beyond that. It's beyond anything that you can conceptualize. And so, but in the pantheistic tradition, where you say that God is the universe, you're holding that concept of God into definable, changeable, subtractable, addable, multiplicable, divisible state. Whereas the absolute cannot be divisible into you and I. Yeah? So the law is the cause of all causes. That's very important. So it was, if you like, the initial cause of everything that was, could be, would be, should be, in not just a universe, but a multiverse. They actually considered that too. That you're talking about it, when they speak of the universe, it's not just the one universe. They actually consider that as a multiverse. And law presides over all of them. Yeah. So it causes universal being, right, from infinite not being. Right? So law makes things. The law, because of law, there is being. Without law, there is not being. And without law, there would be infinite not being. So, and as such, it brought about the cosmos. And that's interesting that we use the word cosmos, and that's actually the word they use. And cosmos in ancient Greece was a word that was picked very, very carefully because it actually means universe governed by law. That is actually the meaning, the Greek meaning of the word cosmos. So law came and manifest everything from the infinite nothing. And I'll get into that just in a little bit, but I just want to go through the initial concepts, the fundamentals of this. So the law that we're talking about, and when I say the law, it is the capital letters the law, right? The law is not being. Being is relative, yeah? But the law is the cause of being. And I struggled with that initially. So the law causes the verb be, or an Arab, kun. It is the cause of kun. It's that thing that made be happen. Yeah. So, like I said, it cannot separate itself into component parts. And okay, so here's where things differ with the kind of Hermeticist tradition, because to the ancients, the cosmos is not a dream or a meditation or an illusion or a delusion or an imagination of the absolute. All those aspects are mortal. They are aspects that we can postulate, that we can contemplate, we can think about. But actually, the cosmos is not an accident. It happened purposefully, and it's not some dream state of pantheistic deity. No, it's not that. So it does not dream, it does not meditate, it does not imagine, it does not think. So it does not learn from experience. None of that. The law is above having qualities associated with being. To hold otherwise is to degrade it and deny absoluteness. So in this, there is a difference with the Hermetic tradition. Right. So, so the teachings go on and state that other than the law, there's an infinity of nothingness. And here, the definition is required, which I'll get to. So unlike almost all modern faiths that suggest the absolute law or absolute and infinity is identical. So according to the arcanes, the ancients, the absolute and the infinite are not the same. So in the teachings, there's a distinction made between nothingness. To them, so when I say infinite nothingness, so the law came about and brought about the cosmos. And here there is a problem of language. Nothingness is not in the arcane, in the mystic sense. Nothingness is not. It's not zero. It's no thingness. Right? It's not nothingness, which is nothing. It is no thingness. and the law brings, but it contains this infinite no thingness, contains the potential of things. And law brings thingness from infinite no thingness. That makes sense?
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah. So so in this, so it's not a condition of notness, what they call notness. There is no notness. You know. So in this infinity of no thingness, law comes and brings cosmos, order, and thingness comes to be. Right? And in this being, and this is why I said the law is not being. The law causes being. So in this, so the infinite nothingness is no thing, is actuality, it's a latency or potentiality. This is the no things, infinite no things. So at the period of infinite nothingness, and there was a period of infinite nothingness, in which the latency, potentiality of all thingness exists, the law moved on its surface and caused things. This is kind of a way in which a lot of the traditions today talk about, but in a different form. And from that first imposition, let's say, when the law made the cosmos, right? The first manifestation is they call the cosmic will, or the life principle. Yeah. If you want to sit over there, actually, sit over there. So, the cosmic will is the one life of the cosmos. Yeah. So most, and this is where most faiths consider this to be the deity. But the cosmic will, or this life principle, is the be. It's the thing, it's the effect of the initial cause. That's the life principle of the cosmic will. So this life principle, cosmic will, even called universal being, is under the law and relative to it, but it's not it. Right? Because it's subject to its tenets. So from this cosmic law, life principle, universal being, the cosmos manifests the universe of life in shape and form. Okay? And what's important to note is that the cosmos is alive. It's alive in every part. Its real nature vests in the cosmic will, or the life principle, which is in all parts of the manifested universe from lowest to highest. This is the will or world spirit. So this is what the pantheistic traditions would consider. That cosmic will. This is where most pantheistic traditions say that is the deity. Now, the cosmos contains three principles, according to the ancients: substance, motion, and consciousness. And from these three principles arise the infinite variety and combinations of mind, energy, and matter. So from the three principles, you get mind, energy, and matter in various permutations and combinations, which therefore leads to the manifested beings. So, in the teachings, the doctrine of perpetual evolution of substance, energy, and consciousness on a variety of planes exists. So there are infinite number of planes, of which planes of evolution in groups of 7, and this is kind of like the Hermetic tradition also speaks to that, as does the philosophy, which are also subdivided into 7, which are also subdivided into 7, and so on and so forth. So these teachings hold that the cosmos is regulated by the 7 laws that are superimposed by the law, right, upon the cosmic will, or the life principle universally, or logos. The cosmic will is to the ancients, that's the logos. So what are these cosmic laws? The law of orderly trend. Now these are the 7 that are somewhat different to the Hermetic. They're in many, they can be similar in some cases, but there is some variation. So the first of the laws is the law of orderly trend. There is always law and order in the cosmos, from highest to lowest. There is no disorder, disharmony, or chance in the cosmos. And this is similar to what Hermes also says. It's important to know that actually these teachings predate her. So in the universe, in the cosmos, everything is equal. Everything is as it should be, balance exists. This is not on an individual level. This is on a cosmic level. Balance exists. You may be thinking, well, things are going bad here, and you're thinking about particular difficulties you personally are facing, or this world is personally facing, but this world is not the cosmos. It's but a part of it. So in the cosmic balance, there's always balance. The law of analogy. What is true for the atom is true for the sun. As above, so below. In all things manifest, studying the lower planes, one can gain an understanding of the higher planes. Now, remember, this is all within the cosmos. This is not the law. Imposition of law onto things. And for those of us who are manifest in the cosmos and have become things as a result, for us, studying the lower gives us an understanding of the higher, but never the law. It's important to understand that. Okay? So this, in the Hermetic tradition, is called the law of correspondence. Law of sequence. This can also be called the law of cause and effect. Nothing happens by chance. A precedent manifestation leads to a subsequent. Not on a single level, but on all level, on the level of the entire manifestation. This is the butterfly effect. This is where somebody can do something somewhere else, and someone, 1,000 miles away, feels the effect of it. We're all one. We're all part of the same manifestation, and that's why that happens. There is no you and I. There is one manifestation that came about by law. And so someone does something somewhere, something was extinct, or some volcano erupts elsewhere or something, that even though it's thousands of miles away, an asteroid belt can be hit, or collides, and then an asteroid changes direction, and it's happened a million miles away, and we're going to be affected. So there is cause and effect in everything, absolutely everything. Everything proceeds from something and is succeeded by something. 4. The law of rhythm, under which resides an important phenomenon of vibration. And this, obviously, is also discussed in the definition. Everything vibrates. And vibration is a very important, it's an important study because They tune themselves to the control of vibration, and in so doing, control the manifested universe. So if you know how that cup of coffee vibrates, and you're able to tune to that vibration, you can change it, you can move it in there, you can do all of that. And they actually reaches supposedly did that. The law of balance explains the concept that the universe is always in equilibrium. Compensation and balance manifested in the cosmos, in everything. So everything manifest has its opposite. Every cosmic reward has its cosmic price. So understanding this law and truly understanding it would lead to the secret of power. The law of cyclicality reveals that cyclic trends in all things, physical, mental, and spiritual. The lower nature of things is about everything moving in circles. Remember we said we have to think about it. The natural order of things is everything moving in circles. The adept, the person who understands this, the person who understands the law, transforms these circles into rising spirals. We're still circling, rising. And the rest is also spoken in the last lecture that I also did. So, and this is on physical, mental, and spiritual things. So understanding these laws, this is the seventh one. Sorry, the law of opposites. Everything is not, and at the same time, it is. All that is manifest has its other side. Every truth or fact is but a half-truth or fact. Until the adept also knows its other half-truth or fact. So really for control to be exerted, you must really understand that everything, when you are considering something that to be true, it's not. You're only considering one side of it. There is another part of that, because everything is in balance. And until you consider both sides, you will not know how to raise yourself above that polar opposite. So you understand simplistically, you understand gold, but until you also see it in its full spectrum of hot and cold, when you actually rise to the principle of temperature, which encompasses it all. Okay, understanding these laws, the adept will be able to take advantage of the flood tide of rhythm and neutralize the ebb tide. Neutralize opposites by reconciling them. Find and hold balance and poise. Convert cycles to raising spirals. Take advantage of the laws of sequence. Master fate rather than being its slave by using higher laws will become lower ones. Oppose principles using other principles. And acquire the art of mental, physical, spiritual alchemy and transmute their state and condition. You can stop me, by the way, if you have questions.
The questions at the end.
Okay. So now, and this is where, this is actually that was an introduction. So now we'll get into really what is the absolute law. According to the ancients, like I said before, the law is simple. It just is. Asserts and affirms present actual existence. Now, we have to get into some language distinctions. We say the law is, but the problem with that is that in English, is a form, is a singular, is a third person singular form of the word to be. Right? But B B denotes relative existence. Because when you speak of B, it's B means to bring forth, to produce, to be born. But the law is none of those. The law is above those. The law causes to be born, propagate, to all of that. Right? So to be, it signifies a beginning, but the law has no beginning. So therefore B is relative, whereas law is, which is supposed to be absolute. And in fact, I just want to make that because it's important to note. And in fact, in the Sanskrit language, they use the word asti, asti, which denotes the existence of absolute sense, without reference to birth, bringing forth, or production. So, but even more so, and they have another Sanskrit word called asmi. And asmi signifies absolute existence. Now, we say is, the law is, but actually asmi is closer to it because or the condition of law is am. And in Exodus, if you, for those who read the Bible, in Exodus chapter 3, verse 14, we have, God says unto Moses, I am that I am. I am hath sent me unto you. So this I am is the closest law. We say is because of the impediment of language. But in essence, that excerpt of Exodus comes from the ancient notion of law being that it is. I am that I am. There is no explanation. It's beyond all. And so for this, we need to understand that when I say the law is, it's an isness to law. It just is. It's present, it's future, it's in the now. And it's in beyond what we can consider. Right? Whereas when you talk about beingness, that beingness refers to the cosmos. Because beingness is a consequence of isness. Okay, the second aphorism is beyond the law, there is none. Higher than the law, there is none. Elder than the law, there is none. Which implies absolute omnipresence, absolute supremacy, the eternity of self-existence of the law. It has no precedent to have caused it or created it. So now, when I say that outside the law there is not, we need to define that. Not in the was denotes an absence of isness. Yeah. Complete absence of isness or amness. And that is not possible. Why they say that outside the law, above the law, there is not. So that's an impossibility. So, not in this sense for them is an absolute notness. And if there's absolute notness, then there is no cosmos and there's no cosmos. The third, and this is a really very important aspect, the law is absolute. Absolute means unbound, free, unfettered, unrestrained. Essentially, it means perfect freedom. sovereign supremacy. There can be nothing higher than absolutes. There can be no power beyond absolutes. The law of a thing is the sovereign power that governs and controls. An absolute law expresses absolute power and control of all things. Nothing can run contrary to it, overrule it, or break it. It is power absolutely supreme, self-governed, uncontrolled, self-existent, and causeless. It exists of and because of itself. Even if we consider or postulate a supreme being governed by the laws of his inner nature, then these inner laws, rather than supreme being, are the absolute to have governance over that being. So the law and the absolute have to be one and the same. So, in being absolute, the law exists beyond time, space, change, transcendence, and change. Transcending the three principles that we discussed: substance, motion, and consciousness, though they are the effect of its cause. Okay? As well as the seven laws that we just went through. So transcending the three principles of the cosmos and the seven laws by which the law manifests itself in the cosmos, the three principles are aspects of the cosmos, while the seven laws are caused by the absolute law. It then follows that the seven laws are superior to the three principles. So these seven laws actually regulate, govern principles of substance, motion, consciousness. All other concepts of deity are being actuated by motives. Any other concept of deity are actuated by feelings, desires of inner life, just as our men and other manifested for. In reality, even if one conceives that the being, or conceives the being, or an absolute being, and the law within as one and the same, then that law within that being is the efficient reason and causer of action, while the being's action is controlled by that law within, which makes that law within supreme. You get that? No? Okay. So if you conceive of a supreme being, and this supreme being is the imposer of law, that desire, or that desire, or that thing that drives that supreme being to impose law, is in control of that being. And so therefore, that being no longer becomes supreme, because it's being controlled by an inner law that drives that action. So no matter how far you take it, however law gets imposed, even if you go to an even higher being that imposes other laws, then you will always come back to the fact that it is law within. There is something within that deity that you consider supreme that is causing them to do what they're doing. And as such, there will always be, at the end of it, the law that's driving them to do what they're doing. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so all in the end, what we can just say is that the law is. And we can say no, because it's beyond other than definition. and for the ancients, they understood this principle, accepted it, because they felt its effects, and understood that they are part, that they are the effects of its cause. And just understood that the law is I am. And the fourth aphorism is that the law is the efficient reason of all things, and is the supreme power and causer of the cosmos. Without law, there could be no cosmos, or any manifestation therein. The very word cosmos is right. Actually, what I wanted to start with today, it's part of a series that I'm going through. I hope you found it interesting, and I'll take your questions.
Okay, we have a first question from Brother Kingsley in Tokyo. Are these laws laid down for us by the great architect of the universe, or by enlightened individuals that are before us?
So, so these are laws from the ancients, from races that we barely don't know in our traditional history. But there are certain manuscripts that do exist, and they're difficult to come by, and they're passed down, and there are certain individuals who are custodians of these manuscripts. And much of this is actually more word of mouth. There are manuscripts, though, but true teachings of how actually there are lessons of how to in fact control vibration and things like that. And those are very closely guarded.
He also asks, can we also create our own laws?
They will all be subject to the law, no matter what you do. In the end, they will be subject to the law, and actually your desire to create law is in fact what I was just saying. You are subject to that inner law. That inner law in you, your supreme. It's your governing principle.
Another question is on the manuscripts of Thoth, where he says that he used the supreme law to be able to go in and out of the physical plane.
Yeah.
Can you just touch on that in terms of what you described as the universal law?
So within the cosmos, like we said, there are several planes, and in those planes, the adept who has learned the laws that govern the planes is able to move through these planes as they see fit, as they wish. And yes, there are lessons in which that one can do that. Yeah.
Questions? Okay.
Sorry, but just one thing. The thing is that Thoth was an adept. So what he is describing and what I was just talking about are one and the same. Today's session was more about just to define the law and to introduce the concept of these ancient teachings, of which Thoth, of course, is a fact.
Okay, question. The concept of the supreme being indescribable is in direct conflict with the teachings of dogma today. How do you explain that?
Well, yes. So in this, most of the traditions today talk about a pantheistic deity because we want to associate with the knowable, and other than and this is a reflection of an insecurity that we obviously have, as well as it's a reflection of kind of egocentricity, because if we cannot understand it and we cannot relate to it, therefore, it's opposing. So I would say that, I mean, I can't, other than that, I cannot account for it, but I would say that from a logical, sensible, the unknowable to the mortal mind is more likely to be what the supreme being, or the supreme, whatever you want to call it, deity, law, being, whatever it is, it's unknowable. That would probably make sense to me, the view of the mortal mind.
And the second part of that question is the unknowable or undescribable divine can be made we can be made to understand that through either help from a different plane, or
even
through meditation.
Actually, in the actually, that's a good question. So within these manuscripts, so it turns out that yes, adepts from this plane have come in contact and communication with beings in higher planes, and those beings in higher planes, that the unknowable is unknowable.
How do you know that?
I'm just saying that this is how they have communicated that. Now, if it's true, I'm not there, so I can't say. But what I can say is that with regards to the way that the cosmos is governed and how the ancients considered it being, right? By definition, the absolute. By definition, the absolute cannot be known. Cannot be.
Any more questions, anyone? Let's check the YouTube page.
Yeah.
Let me just check the YouTube channel to see if we have anything here.
So let's start. So the law is fixed. So there was this point at which there was infinite nothingness, no things, not nothing, as in not or nothingness. Right? There was an infinite nothingness that had, or no things that had the potential. If you like, you can imagine it. It's a kind of where it says in Genesis that God went over the sea of the sea and anyway, God's breath went over there was a sea, basically kind of nothing or no thingness, and from that he made the heavens and the earth. And from the earth we trees and so on. So in that sea that they also speak about in Genesis and what, that is the sea of no thingness, because nothing was yet created, but it has the potential of thingness, right? And in the way that the ancients are talking about that, they're saying law came and imposed thingness on the infinite no-thingness. And so it's part of creation. You can call it that. But creation is relative. It has a start. And which means that you're not talking about immortality. This is not law. The law always has been. It cannot be created. It does not have a starting point and ending point. It cannot be divisible. But it can impose. Yes.
made by some Egyptian individuals, the law,
No.
Allah, or laws.
No.
So the law, it doesn't have a beginning. It was just came down there.
The law is, don't think of it in terms of upper or lower, or it has no, there is no point or universal point to it where you can say it started here and it ended there. It is beyond the normal definition of started.
But is it the law inherent things that govern our actions?
There are higher laws that govern the cosmos, that made the cosmos to be. And with every subsequent plane within the cosmos, they have their governing law. And within those subsequent planes, this will get to much later. But this is just an introduction of the cosmic law.
But the cosmic law was interpreted by someone.
No, the cosmic law. No. The attributes of the law. So you have. So you have this thing that's called the law. Even in the true state, right? Your primary principle is fact, but actually it's not fact.
That is not nothing.
No, it's not that. So it is that notion of property,
Okay.
right?
Like thought.
Bound, right? Held, right? So it is not. It is that kind of thing where from no thing, brought it to be, and from that came the code. That action of opulent brought code, brought being.
Okay, we're going to sign off now, and then we can continue the discussion here. Yeah?
All right, thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Brother Ramzi, for the presentation.